Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to a new video. So in today's video, I want to discuss my favorite TV show of 2020, Devs. Now, Devs is a show that you might not have heard of because it was shoved onto Hulu with little to no marketing, no international release anywhere, and it just sort of came and went. There was very little fanfare before it arrived, and there was no fanfare after it arrived, and not a lot of people talked about it, even though, in my opinion, it's the best show of the year. So Devs is by Alex Garland, who is best known for Ex Machina and Annihilation. He makes sci-fi projects that are very cerebral and heady. They feel like they take place now or a few years from now. They don't really feel too distant from us. All his films tackle some philosophical questions and delve deep into some concepts. Ex Machina discussed the relationship between man and AI, man and machine. Can we trust AI and machines? What's the ethics of AI? Are they actual, do they count as conscious living beings? And Annihilation discusses man's effect on nature and man versus nature and that sort of thing. Devs discusses stuff like determinism, loss, faith, destiny, fate, the God complex, messiahs, false prophets, as well as corporate ethics and tech ethics. Devs follows Lily Chan. Lily lives in San Francisco with her boyfriend Sergey, and they work for the Maya Corporation, who's run by CEO Forrest. Now, when Sergey gets promoted to Devs, almost a day after, he ends up killing himself under mysterious circumstances. Now, Lily believes foul play is involved, so she starts to investigate the CEO, the Devs department, as well as the corporation as a whole. And she has to find out what is actually going on, and it's pretty insane. As with all Alex Garland products and projects, this is really well made and really well written. The dialogue is very sharp and it feels fairly realistic, and none of the sci-fi mumbo jumbo feels too exposition-like and doesn't really and always fits. You don't feel confused by the show. It's not written to be confusing, and that's something I appreciate, because sometimes sci-fi shows just chuck a bunch of confusing jargon and just act like it all makes sense. The show understands its audience, and it's a very thought-provoking show. After you finish it, you'll definitely be thinking about the concepts it discusses: corporate ethics, determinism, fate, religion, and it's a show that sticks with you. Some of the stuff that happens isn't disturbing, but it'll definitely stay with you for a while, and you'll be thinking about the show and the concepts for a while after you finish the show. The performances from Nick Offerman, Soyuna Mizuno, Carl Glusman, as well as the supporting cast of Kelly Spieni, Alison Pill, and Stephen Henderson are all great. Especially Offerman and Mizuno. Offerman plays the CEO Forrest, and he comes off as pretty happy and charming and warm, and the good boss. But at the same time, you can tell he is holding in some dark secrets, and he is capable of some really dark things. Lily Chan, played by Soyuna Mizuno, is a really great character, and Mizuno is a very nuanced and layered performance. There are moments where her character has full-on breakdowns, and the acting is really good in those moments. It doesn't feel like it's emotionally manipulative, and it feels that it's been approached with a good amount of realism and sympathy rather than just doing it for shock value. In terms of the cinematography, this show is very well shot. All the shots feel very thoughtful and intricate. A lot of the shots you can sort of break apart and find a lot of hidden meaning in them. The camera does move in interesting and unique ways, and some of the huge exterior shots are very nice to look at. On top of this, in general, for a TV show and a miniseries, the cinematography is very good. Often TV show cinematography is very hit or miss, but this honestly has the production value of a big budget movie. CGI, while it isn't as good as Ex Machina or Annihilation, it's still pretty excellent, and it's a really nice looking show, and the CGI complements it very well. They use a lot of CGI, and it never feels distracting, and it works really well with the show. Most of the devs department is CGI, and a lot of the exterior stuff is all CGI, but it still looks really great. The score by Ben Salisbury is excellent. I feel like this is his best work scoring wise, and that's saying a lot because Ex Machina and Annihilation have incredible scores, but this beats that. The mix of gospel music with sort of jazz elements and orchestral elements and a little bit of electronic elements is so unique, and I've been listening to the soundtrack for a while now, even though I finished the show months ago. On top of this, Devs is a very well-paced show. It's only 8 episodes and it's a mini-series, but none of the episodes feel like they overstay their welcome. The show doesn't feel like it overstays its welcome. It moves at a pretty fast-ish pace, but it really slows down when it needs to, and watching the show is a breeze. Like, you can get through the episodes really quickly because they just don't feel long. They feel perfect in how it's paced, and honestly, I think it's one of the best paced miniseries I've ever seen. Overall, Devs is a very clever and thoughtful science fiction show by Alex Garland, and it's something I'm really annoyed didn't get more of a push, especially for TV awards, and I wish it got a proper international release because it only came out on Hulu. That being said, I do hope they release it on Blu-ray and maybe make a deal with a different streaming service so they can promote it more, because this show is incredible and it's one you shouldn't miss. So yeah, that's all for today's video. I hope you had a great time watching, and I'll see you in the next one.